Quick review of Matthew's video. This has 44,000 hits, which is crazy. Matthew is the godfather of fantasy football, or that's what he likes to refer to himself as. He really should go with the P.T. Barnum of fantasy football, because he helped take a nerdy little pastime and turn it into something that's under the big top. He's really got great marketing skills is what he's got. But don't take his fantasy football advice, and I'll explain why. So Matthew's a Hollywood guy, so I'll use a Hollywood analogy for this. Maybe you've seen Raising Arizona. There's a scene in Raising Arizona where John Goodman is a bank robber, and he runs into a bank full of farmers and ranchers, and he whips out his gun and he says, "Everybody freeze, hit the ground." Nobody does anything. A second goes by. He says, "Hit the ground." And a farmer looks at me and says, "Well, you want us to freeze or hit the ground? Because if I hit the ground, I'm going to be in motion." John Goodman says, "Hit the ground." So everybody hits the ground. The point is that it's contradictory.
You really want a dual threat quarterback, because if they don't get you fantasy points with their legs, you need them to have 40 passing touchdown upside, and there just aren't a lot of quarterbacks like that in the NFL right now. I also think it's important to understand tiers. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts are kind of the elite top 3, but there's a clear top 8 quarterbacks. What you really want is quarterbacks that run and throw, that have talent around them.
And right off the bat, Matthew gives 3 rules for picking quarterbacks, all of which can be contradictory. So for example, he says, okay, you want a run pass threat option at QB, or you want a 40 touchdown upside QB. It's like, all right, I could probably sort those 2 things out. And then he says, you want a QB in the top tier, and he defines the top tier as the top 8 quarterbacks. So there are 3 rules for picking a quarterback. And they flash a shot of the top tier, the top 8 quarterbacks. And guess who's at number 9 is Daniel Jones, who's a run pass threat. It's just like, and then you also look at it's like, why did you pick 8 as the top tier? Why did you split it there? Because at number 8 was Justin Herbert, and it's just like, and then above him was Trevor Lawrence, and I'm just like, I don't see that. How did you split that into the top tier? So it's just like, how am I supposed to take your advice, Matthew? And it's not very hard. You can't. The point is you can't, and you're doing the people a disservice to give them all these maxims. And I cover this on my website about these old, tired out maxims. They really just have to be thrown away. The point at the end of his video, he does get to his point, which is to say, he says that there's no one way to win fantasy football. Really? I think it's pretty clear the one way to win fantasy football is to amass the most points. So if at the end of the draft, you have the most projected points, then you have won. You won your draft. Now you can't do anything about, what's going to happen during the season, because players are going to get injured and so on and so forth. But if you amass the most points at the end of your draft, projected points according to your projections, then you won. There is only one way to win. This has been Dr. Robocoach. Please do all the things.